Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to the Wisconsin Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We have a killer lineup of institutions for you to listen to this evening. But before I turn it over to them, I do have some quick housekeeping items for you this evening. Number one, this is a webinar, so your camera and your microphones are off. So our panelists cannot see or hear you this evening, but they do know that you're going to have some questions and they want to make sure that you get your answers. And so at any time period during this presentation, you can put questions in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please note the college or university that you're directing your question to so that they can answer appropriately. This is a really fun way to learn about colleges that maybe you've heard of before, maybe colleges that you're exploring for the first time. And so there are going to be more sessions in 2 weeks, but you could also go back and review the recordings of tonight's sessions later on. So this session is being recorded as well as all the sessions that are happening this evening and will be available at strivescan.com/Wisconsin. So to kick things off, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. You're first going to have the opportunity to hear from Pacific University, Oregon. Take it away, Derek, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Courtney, and welcome everybody to another 6x6. I'm glad to be joining you. We're jumping out to the West Coast to start the evening tonight. And my name is Derek. I am one of the admissions staff at Pacific, but more importantly, I am actually your admissions counselor when you apply to Pacific University, Oregon. So I get to work with a lot of different students, but today I get to help you learn a little bit about what it's like to become a boxer. And Pacific itself, we're a small private liberal arts school. We're located out in the northwest corner of Oregon in a little town called Forest Grove. So if you're flying in, you're going to fly into Portland International Airport, the #1 airport in America. So it's an amazing spot to just fly in, and you can actually get all the way to our campus using mass transportation. So it's a really nice setup where our students are just outside of Portland, but we're still part of the Portland metro area. You have those connections to mass transportation. You're right in the Silicon Forest with places like Nike, Intel, Xerox, Columbia, and these big world headquarters near our campus. But the other direction, you're headed out into the Tillamook National Forest and those things that make the Pacific Northwest such an amazing outdoor destination. From our campus, in about 15 minutes, you can be hiking in these mountains you see behind me called the Coast Range in the Tillamook National Forest. You can be on the Oregon coast surfing in about an hour or skiing on Mount Hood in about 2 hours. So it's an amazing area where you can do a lot of different things in the outdoors and still get those connections into Portland. And at Pacific, when you apply, you're applying to Pacific, not to a specific program, not to an honors college, not to a specific major, but you get to apply to our school as a whole. Because no matter which of our 75 different majors, minors, and programs you choose, we're going to treat you as if you're an honors student. And at Pacific, we're best known for the pre-health professions, optometry, physical therapy, things like that. But we also have amazing science programs, nationally and regionally ranked creative writing, education, and business programs. So you will find a little bit of everything at Pacific and can find your passion as far as academics. And again, no matter which of those you choose, you're going to get the opportunity to be in small classes. We have about 2,000 undergraduate students. Our average class size is only 19. Our biggest lecture hall seats about 60 students. That's as big as they get. And instead, you're going to have professors who know your names. They know where you're from. And at Pacific, every single class is taught by a full professor. So it holds you to that high academic standard, but that we also want you in and out of Pacific in 4 years. In fact, we guarantee it. We give all of our students a 4-year guarantee that you'll get your education in 4 years at Pacific, not have to do 50 years or 6 years or victory laps. And again, that applies to all of our different programs while you're here. But the other side of that academic coin is that when you start out, we don't want you waiting until you're a junior or senior to test out your major and start building up your resume, because we know that's going to be just as important as when you're actually sitting in the classroom. So as the top private research university in the Pacific Northwest, we start our students doing job shadowing, internships, and research freshman and sophomore year. Whether that's working at somewhere big like Nike, doing research on campus, or creating and writing your own poetry and publishing it in our nationally publicized creative writing magazine, all of our students are going to have that opportunity for research and internships to build up their resume so that when they graduate, they're able to go get those dream jobs, to go on to graduate school right away. And again, knowing they can do that in 4 years is very important to them as well. And at the same time, we do want our students to take a break, to have that exterior opportunity where they get to express what they love. And whether that passion is in something like student government, joining in our Hawaii club, where we actually host the largest student-run luau anywhere on the mainland US, and any student's welcome to join in and learn about the culture. Maybe that means joining in some of our Greek groups or our ethnicity and background clubs, joining in our performing arts, where you don't need to major or minor, but if you just really like singing, you can audition and become part of our elite choir as a student at Pacific. Or maybe that means athletics for you. And at Pacific, we offer 24 varsity sports in the NCAA Division III Northwest Conference. So you get to compete against a number of schools locally by, compete in national competitions, or join our intramural groups and compete against your friends and classmates. So there's lots of ways to stay active, to stay connected, and to build up those interests you have in high school, and continue to do that by solving problems outside of the classroom. So again, taking advantage of the Pacific Northwest and maybe taking voyages and learning how to surf on the Oregon coast or rock climb in Central Oregon. Maybe that means studying abroad for you and going to a different country and experiencing all those opportunities that they're going to have there. Whether that's for a full semester or a full year in our 27 sites around the world, or a 2 to 3 week travel class where you're going with a professor to a foreign country and getting that experience of learning in a different way. Or maybe that means giving back through community service. And we have community service opportunities right here locally, excuse me, as well as internationally in some of these travel classes where you might go to another country and learn to give back that way. And to do all of this, we encourage you to apply to Pacific. So again, I'm going to be your admissions counselor. So you're going to apply through the common application, send that in. We are test optional. So you are welcome to send in test scores if that's something you're proud of this year, but they're not required for admission or for scholarship. They're going to be part of that academic profile, but they're not going to be the only piece of that. And again, when you apply to Pacific, you're applying to Pacific. You also take care of all of your merit application. And at Pacific, we have no in-state or out-of-state tuition and no in-state or out-of-state scholarship. So all of our students, regardless of where you're coming from, are looking at the exact same opportunities. Our academic merit scholarships are ranging from $15,000 to $27,000 per year guaranteed for those 4 years you're at Pacific. And again, that's that same application as applying. And for those of you who have those talents outside, maybe that means music, dance, or theater, speech and debate, mathematics. You can audition or apply for additional scholarship. And for those of you who are seniors, you can take advantage of coming out and visiting campus in person or online at one of our senior preview scholarship days, where you get a bigger event than today. You get to learn more about the school and you earn $1,000 in scholarship for all 4 years. So if you have any questions or you want to learn more about becoming a boxer, please reach out to me directly. You can scan that QR code there, email me at derek@pacificu.edu, and I'll also drop my contact information into the chat. But thank you all so much for listening, and we look forward to helping you become a boxer.
Derek, thanks so much to you and Pacific University, Oregon. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing you to the University of Vermont. Take it away, Ashley, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Courtney, and welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. My name is Ashley Brown, and I serve as a Regional Associate Director in the Office of Admission at the University of Vermont. And I'm just get my my slides here together. Sorry. Let's see.
If you click on slideshow.
Yeah, let's see. I'm sorry, one moment. Okay, that's not clicking for some reason. So sorry. Okay, there we go. Very good. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. The University of Vermont is a medium-sized institution. We've got about 10,000 undergraduate students on our campus currently, and our average class size hovers just around 32 students, and our student-to-teacher ratio is 16:1. I'll bring your attention to the statistic listed here on the screen. We've got 73% of our students coming from out of state, while 27% of those students are coming from in-state. So this is really unique for a public institution for that out-of-state number to be so high. So in total, our student body makes up around 47 different states and around 67 different countries. We also offer over 100 different majors at the University of Vermont. So some of our more popular programs include business, psychology, environmental studies and sciences, political science, as well as the health sciences as well. But broad exploration is encouraged at the University of Vermont. So we definitely encourage students to take on a double major or a major and a couple of minors if they have multiple academic passions that they are interested in pursuing. All right, we've got a lot of distinctive qualities at the University of Vermont that we like to share with people. And these are just a few of our distinctive qualities listed here on the screen. And sometimes they can seem a little bit contradictory. So for example, the University of Vermont is old. We were founded in 1791, and we are the fifth oldest institution in the New England area after Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and Brown. But we're also really new in the fact of constantly keeping pace with the changing world around us and just being cognizant of the ever-changing society we find ourselves in. It is also true that we are both big and small, so we're really big in comparison to some of those smaller liberal arts schools across the country, but also really small in comparison to some of those larger national research institutions as well. We're also urban and open. So open with us being urban, we're located in the downtown area of Burlington, a beautiful city. The downtown area is just about a 10-minute walk from campus. And with us being open, that means that our natural landscape is open. So we have vast, beautiful, sweeping views of campus. We are framed by the Green and Adirondack Mountains, and we sit right on Lake Champlain, which is the sixth largest freshwater lake in the United States. And we have lots of different hands-on experiences and opportunities for students, and around 91% of our students are completing an internship opportunity or a research opportunity before graduating from the University of Vermont. So I'll bring your attention to the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see some recent companies that our students have interned with. And this is by no means an exhaustive list. So we have hundreds of different companies in our Career Center where students have interned before, and we still have really strong connections with those companies where students can gain more hands-on experience here in the future. In terms of undergraduate research, there are one of two ways that you can conduct that research. You can come alongside a professor and hop on a research project that they are already conducting, or you can also come up with a research idea of your own, submit that for faculty consideration, and once that is approved by the faculty committee, you can go ahead and conduct that undergraduate research as well. So all in all, experiential learning is a crucial part of a UVM education, and we encourage all of our students to take advantage of these opportunities. This slide just talks a little bit about our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion on campus. We govern ourselves by 6 core common ground values that are listed there on the left-hand side of the screen. And we've taken these values a step further and integrated them into our academic curriculum as well. So on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you'll see some education requirements. So in order for students to graduate from the University of Vermont, all students have to complete 2 diversity courses, 1 sustainability course, a quantitative reasoning course, in addition to a foundational writing and information literacy class as well. We also have campus identity centers for students who would like to come together and actively plan and engage and put on activities for the greater campus community. And for students who share a common sense of identity, they also serve as a second home. So we have our Mosaic Center for students of color. We have our Prism Center for any students who identify as LGBTQIA+. We also have our Interfaith Center, in addition to our Women and Gender Equity Center as well. We also have a very active Hillel on campus, and about 11% of our student body identifies as Jewish. A little bit about our housing system. At the University of Vermont, all first-year students are required to live on campus for the first 2 years at UVM, and all first-year students are required to live on campus in one of our living and learning communities. So these are just essentially ways for students to round out their passion at the University of Vermont and really hone in on an interest outside of their academic major. So students are placed into these living and learning communities via the housing application. You'll rank these in order of preference on your housing app, and about 90% of our students are receiving their first choice living and learning community. Lastly, I'll talk a little bit about the admissions process. We do utilize a holistic review process at the University of Vermont, so we are not just looking at your grade point average or test scores if you choose to submit those, but we also take a look at letters of recommendation, your extracurricular activities, in addition to your essays as well, to make an informed decision as to if you'd be a strong fit for our campus community. We are test optional for this recruitment cycle, and we will be test optional next year as well, so you will not be penalized in the admissions process at all if you choose not to submit those test scores. All students are also automatically considered for merit-based scholarships upon being admitted to the university as well, and those scholarships will range from $8,000 and going upwards into $20,000 per year. Thank you all again so much for being here this evening. If you need to reach me, I will definitely put my contact information in the chat. So thank you.
Ashley, thanks so much to you and the University of Vermont. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the University of Wyoming. Take it away, Cade, whenever you're ready.
All righty, folks, good evening to wherever you guys are currently listening. My name is Cade Russo. I am an admissions representative from the University of Wyoming. I am also the state recruiter for the University of Wyoming to the great state of Wisconsin. And folks, we're going to talk today about why the world needs more cowboys. Well, the University of Wyoming, where are we located? Well, we are in Laramie, Wyoming, about 2 hours north of Denver, Colorado, located in southeastern Wyoming, if you can think of where that's at. Laramie sits at 7,220 feet above sea level. We're the highest Division I institute in the entire nation, which I think is really, really cool. And here's a corny dad joke for you. We're above the rest, quite literally, when it comes down to elevation, of course. We are home to Wyoming's only land grant institution. And so we are the only public four-year institution in the state of Wyoming, which is really, really cool. Some other cool things about Laramie, we're 30 minutes away from skiing and snow sports, over 100 miles of biking and hiking trails are just 15 minutes away from Laramie. 32,000 people call Laramie home. 2.9 million acres of national forests surround us, and Laramie has been ranked the #1 small college town in the entire nation. When you look at the University of Wyoming, what's our profile? Well, we are a medium-sized institution. About 11,000 students call us home. I guess you could say even 12,000. 14-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. Average class size is 30. We just simply don't have the facilities for those massive 500, 600-person lecture halls. We really like to pride ourselves on providing a really interpersonal connection within the classroom here at UW. And then when you look at, some more profile facts about UW, really the athletic side of things comes into play as well. Being that we are the only four-year in the entire state, there's so much pride and passion behind our Cowboys and Cowgirls on the athletic fields, but also within the classroom and the fine arts. And so much pride and passion behind one brand, one I guess, Wyoming kind of. Looking at our student body really is represented by all 50 states and more than 83 different countries. Really makes us a nice, culturally diverse place here in Wyoming. 57% of our students do call Wyoming home, but also 43% of them are coming from outside of the state of Wyoming. And then the other side of our student body conversation is that 95% of our students, well, first-time students, receive scholarships and financial aid. Average award for that is going to be right around $13,000. When you talk about programs of studies and majors and programs, 85 different bachelor programs that over across 200 areas of study here at the University of Wyoming. What we're really well known for is being a great engineering school, business certainly very strong, but also cool majors, similar to outdoor tourism, recreational management, cool stuff like that. So really strong academics here at the University of Wyoming. Over 800 plus undergraduates involved in research every single year. We also have a really fantastic honors college, and so 800 plus students involved in our honors college, which really creates the next generation of critical thinkers that our country really does need. 8 colleges, 2 professional schools here at UW. Certainly, you have a program for you. We pretty much offer everything from A to Z, which is really, really great. Education abroad, cool thing about Wyoming as well is that we have got the largest endowment for studying abroad in the entire nation, which I think is absolutely fantastic of any public four-year institute. Over 400 different sites worldwide, domestic locations are also available. And so what that means is we've got the most amount of scholarship dollars, thanks to Dick Cheney, to really give out to our students to make studying abroad financially affordable. Student success, we truly care about you here at the University of Wyoming. Everything from academics and tutoring all the way down to career services. We want to make sure that, number one, you enjoy being here at school at the University of Wyoming, but also what can we do to help serve you as the student, right? And what can we do to get you connected with impactful careers and internship opportunities? All those really, really important things that come with the college search process. Financial aid, as I did say, 95% of our first-time students do receive scholarships and financial aid. We've been ranked the 3rd best value institute and really university in the entire country, which is kind of that conversation. What are you getting for the bang for your buck, right? That's really impactful. And then we're number one on the list of 20 states where college is absolutely worth the cost that you are paying. Brown Gold Commitment is going to be the main non-resident scholarship to you students coming from the state of Wisconsin. Please do look into this. This is a merit-based award. Your application to the University of Wyoming is your application to that commitment. Please do check out that full grid on our website. When it comes down to admission requirements, we do operate on rolling admission here at the University of Wyoming. So we'll get back to it within about 10 to 12 business days upon that completion of your application. What we are looking for in admissions requirements is right up there, 4 years of English, math, science, and then 3 years of additional coursework and social science. And so pretty straightforward stuff right there. 3.0, we are test optional for fall of 2022. And good stuff like that. We'd love for you to apply. Takes really no time at all, 10 to 15 minutes, $40 application fee, all that kind of good stuff. But very seamless application process. We really want to take the guessing game out of this whole college admissions game, I guess, and process for you guys as students. So very straightforward process. And last but not least, we would love to have you come visit campus. It's really going to give you the best opportunity to see what we are all about here at the University of Wyoming. We are open for in-person tours, so come out, put your feet on campus, see what it is really like to be a Wyoming cowboy or cowgirl. So come join us for that. If you can't make it to Wyoming, hop on one of our virtual tours as well. So we want to show off our beautiful campus, as well as all the other great things about UW. Other than that, folks, thanks for listening to me. Feel free to take a picture of this screen right here. This is my contact information. I am the counselor for the great state of Wisconsin. Please let me know how I can assist you in your college admissions journey. World needs more cowboys. Thank you much.
Thank you so much, Cade, to you and the University of Wyoming. Next up, I have the opportunity to introduce to you the University of Oregon. Take it away, Ryan, whenever you're ready.
Thanks so much, Courtney. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Ryan Bottomore, and I am an admissions counselor within the University of Oregon, and I'm also a proud alum. So I graduated about 2 years ago from the U of O. I pursued 2 degrees, one in business administration and the other one in art and technology. So I have both the perspective of being a former student as well as a faculty staff member within the U of O. So I appreciate you all joining me and all of us today to learn more about each of our institutions. In the meantime, I'm going to start sharing my screen. If I can get some verbal confirmation that you all are able to see my screen, that would be fantastic.
There it is.
Perfect. Thanks, Courtney. So as you probably heard from Derek earlier from Pacific University, Oregon, we are also on the western half of the state of Oregon, also about an hour away from the Oregon coast. So another geography lesson of the day. So we're located in Eugene, Oregon, which is going to be the quintessential college town. It actually fluctuates between the second and third largest city in the state of Oregon, which is about a 2-hour drive away from our largest city. But one of my favorite things of not only being a former student, but also being a staff member now is the location of our institution. So like I said, an hour away from the Oregon coast, an hour away from the Cascade Mountains, close proximity to so many great adventures within the state of Oregon that many students take advantage of on a week-to-week basis. We are a roughly middle to large size institution of around 18,000 undergraduate students, where we have all 50 states represented, as well as about 90 different countries represented. If you take into consideration our graduate population, we're around 22,000, as well as about 101 different countries represented through our programs. But just wanted to say that if you are a student and you decide to come to the U of O, whether you are sitting in your classrooms, participating in any clubs and organizations, you'll be meeting students all across the world. And I think that is an incredible and rewarding learning opportunity that we provide our students. Even though we are a middle to large size institution, we do have the class sizes of being roughly a small institution. Our average class size is 36 and our median class size is 19, and our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. We are a Tier 1 national public research institution where about 3/4 of our students are actively involved in research in some sort of capacity. We are a member of the Association of American Universities, or the AAU, and it's not the basketball AAU if you're familiar with that, but this association is where we do undergraduate and interdisciplinary research all across campus, and most, if not all, professors are receiving sort of grants or funding to perform research, and you as an undergraduate can be a part of this research while you are here. We do have a variety of different academic programs, and I'll talk to you about some of our top programs. But one of the ones that I want to mention is that we do have the Robert D. Clark Honors College. So this Honors College is just a small liberal arts institution within the U of O that you can major in absolutely anything and be a part of the honors program. If the Honors College is not the right fit, I do want to say that there are 2 other opportunities to pursue honors. You can go through your departmental honors. So depending on your academic major, you can actually go through their honors program specifically. And then if you graduate in the top 2%, 5%, or 10% of your graduating class, you can actually graduate with Latin honors. The last thing for this slide of why choose the U of O is that roughly around a quarter of our students actually study abroad. We have over 300 different programs in about 80 different countries, and students have no restrictions on studying abroad. You can study abroad your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, and we even have pre-freshman programs, one in London, one in Singapore, and we even have a 4-week task-based language immersion program where you spend 2 weeks in France and 2 weeks in Italy. As I promised, here are some top majors that we have within the institution. So as you can see, advertising, architecture, biology, business, computer information science. I won't go through all of them, but these are just some of our top majors. Even though if we don't have one maybe listed here, we have 168 to choose from, ranging in arts and letters, social sciences, natural sciences, business, journalism, communication, advertising, whatever it is. We do have a variety of programs that you are able to pursue wholeheartedly, and also have extracurricular opportunities, especially research, to take full advantage of. Outside of academics, students really have the option to shape and mold your college experience. We have about 300 different clubs and organizations that students have the ability to be a part of. And I think that is what's great about attending an institution and going off to college, is you really get to make up what your experience is going to be. Through our clubs and organizations, we have a variety of different ones that pertain to general university clubs and organizations, to academic specific one, and then identity and affinity-based organizations. And like I said, it's really up to you to shape and mold what your college experience is. But the best way to kick that off is by living on campus, and it is a live-on requirement for all students for their first year. If you wanted to do more research, housing.uoregon.edu is the best place to really explore what the opportunities are. We have 10 residence halls, 14 dining facilities, and it'll go through all of the different room types, but you are the best person to know which environment you're going to thrive the most in, so please do your research. I am your admissions counselor, so I have the pleasure of working within the state of Wisconsin, as well as Minnesota and Michigan, and I have a few Oregon territories, but specifically I am your admissions counselor, and this is what I look at. I look at you holistically, who you are as an academic, and then who you are outside the classroom. We are a test optional institution, and my favorite part of the application is going to be the essay. It's a 650-word essay. And then for those who are attending and are students, especially in your senior year, November 1st is your early action deadline. January 15th is your regular deadline. You just have to make sure you apply by that for not only admission, but for scholarship purposes as well. And this is my contact information. I would love to stay in touch with you all. I will put this in the chat as well, but I wanted to thank you all again for attending, and go Ducks.
Ryan, thank you so much to you and the University of Oregon. Our final presentation tonight will be from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Mark, take it away whenever you're ready.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Courtney. I really appreciate it. And welcome, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us today. My name is Mark Swinson, and I am proud to serve as the Alumni Relations and National Recruitment Manager here at UWMadison. I'm also a 2-time alumnus of the university, and I also have a small territory here in Wisconsin. So if we have anybody joining us from Vernon County, I am your representative. We'll go ahead and jump right on in here in our limited time that we have together. So again, we are the public flagship institution here in the state of Wisconsin, as many of you may be familiar with, and we are a large place. We're not going to shy away from that size, because that size is going to give access to you as a student to really so much opportunity to in the end create something that is incredibly unique to you and truly no one else. And I think that's going to be a big takeaway from our conversation this evening. As a student who came from rural Wisconsin, I absolutely love the diversity of our community and the people that I was able to build relationships with, spanning all across the United States and all along the globe. But we are Wisconsin First, being, again, that public flagship institution here at the university. And despite our size, we really want to highlight how important faculty are to us. In my experience, I absolutely loved how accessible and open and available faculty were. And I think many folks might get the impression that at a large institution, that is not really part of the experience, that they're only engaged in research. But I would argue that that could not be further from the truth. And we really want to make sure that you know that faculty are there to support you when it comes to research, when it comes to that in the class engagement, and beyond that. Know that beyond your time on the campus, you're going to be joining a alumni network of over 400,000 living alumni around the world. Obviously, all the institutions that you're speaking with this evening have tremendous academic opportunities. One thing I do want to highlight that I think makes us a little bit unique is this thing called the Wisconsin Idea, and that is our guiding principle. And hopefully, as residents of the state of Wisconsin, you perhaps have been able to hear about what this is. So this is this belief that the knowledge and the learning that you're acquiring in the classroom here at UW should not be bound to the four walls of that room. And it really is this challenge to take that and in some way better the lives of people in your community, in your state, and across the globe. It's a forward-thinking attitude, a commitment to others that has really catapulted UW-Madison into being a very nationally and internationally recognized institution. And it's going to be something very much interwoven into so many of the different academic, social, and extracurricular experiences that you have at the university. So you're taking what you're gaining here at the university far beyond that time that you are with us. To talk a little bit about academics, I truly hope that this is going to be a jumping off point for many of you, because we could sit here and talk about academics all evening, but variety, again, is the name of the game. And then a big takeaway here being that we do have 126 academic majors that span across our 8 schools and colleges. We also have 70 certificate programs. So when you hear the word certificate, think minor. It's really the same course equivalent as you might find at a minor at other institutions. Ours are just take a very interdisciplinary approach, and we choose to call them something a little bit different, a tremendous complement to those major level programs that you're going to be engaging in. Double majoring is a really common practice here at Madison. So if you are still exploring, if you are undecided, if you want to layer in multiple disciplines into your academic experience, UW is absolutely a place that can really support you in that exploration and finding that fit. That's our job as a higher education institution, and know that there are resources, including an entire office dedicated to undecided students or those that are going through a major change. We admit students on behalf of our schools and colleges, so there are not completely separate admissions processes, to each one of our schools and colleges. However, to a couple of our competitive entry majors, we do offer a direct entry option for freshmen, and that is going to be our College of Engineering, our School of Business, as well as our music and dance programs. If there are any additional questions about that, don't hesitate to visit our website, and I can also share a little bit more if those questions do arise. But know again that a lot of different opportunities for you to again find that fit within our academic offerings here at Wisconsin. And we want to make sure that you can elevate what you're doing in the classroom beyond it. I always say that we have a very balanced experience here at Wisconsin, where you're going to be challenged in the classroom, but we want to make sure that you have the airspace to have that enriching experience beyond it as well. These are just some of the examples of ways in which students are able to engage with that. And I'm just going to highlight a couple, given the short time that we have today. The first of which is our study abroad programs. We have the unique distinction of being the #1 center of students in semester-long study abroad in the country. So it is a big piece of our identity here at Madison. I did not study abroad, and it's one of my very, very few regrets during my time. I wish I would have known about how flexible some of the time offerings are, including those year and semester long programs, but also winter break, summer break, 10 days is even a study abroad experience that can be blended into your unique experience here at the university. You want to transition and talk a little bit more about our admissions process and spend a little bit of our last remaining time really pulling back the curtain, hopefully a little bit with this. We also do leverage a holistic review process, meaning that we are truly looking at every single element of your application and making that final determination on your admission, and that there are no formulas, there are no minimums, there is no perfect combination of any of these elements that is either going to guarantee or disqualify a student from admission to the university. And I'll talk a little bit about how we go about this in just a moment, but beyond that, we're looking first and foremost at your academic preparedness, because that's your biggest indicator of your readiness to come to our campus and be successful. But beyond that, we want to learn so much more about you, your unique experiences and aspirations, and really who you want to be in our campus community. And we do that through some of this material. So we are a 2-application school, so you can apply to us either using the common application or the UW system application. No preference on which. Just hope you're making a choice for what's going to be a better fit for you. Perhaps if you're applying to some other UW system schools, that might be an opportunity there. You will be able to submit course and grade information, both self-reported, unofficial transcripts through the UW system app, or we know that many of your schools will be sending transcripts to us. I'm going to look at your GPA for a very short period of time. I want to know what it means. So I'm going to go really, really deep into your transcript, never comparing you to students that are going to other school districts. We're looking at you as an individual in the context in which you are educated, going again far beyond that GPA to really understand who you are as a day-to-day academic. We are test optional here for 2023. And for those, anybody who is a junior or a parent of a junior, we're going to be announcing what that testing policy will be a little bit down the road in the next couple of months. I can guarantee to you that you are not disadvantaged whatsoever by not choosing to submit test scores to us. That said, we ask that you submit two essays to us, as well as a letter of recommendation from an academic source. And we do have our 2 application periods, our early action and regular decision period. And do keep in mind, there is a separate scholarships application process with many of those deadlines coming up on February 1st. So with that, I will go ahead and share some information in the chat, including my contact information, as well as other ways in which you can build your knowledge about UW-Madison. And of course, if you're here in the state of Wisconsin, please do come down and visit us if you have the opportunity to do so.
Mark, thank you so much to you and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'd now like to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras, and we'll go round robin to answer some questions in the same order that you presented this evening. So first question is, what do you hope students and families remember about your institution specifically? And we'll start with you, Derek.
Absolutely. So if you just remember one thing about Pacific, it's really that trying to find those students who have a lot of different passions that they want to mix together. You're not going to have just that one major, that one sport, that one thing, but at Pacific, you get to combine all of those and also do it in the beautiful Pacific Northwest in a slightly different climate that you're in right now.
All right, I would say at the University of Vermont that broad exploration is definitely encouraged. So again, if you have multiple passions that you want to pursue in terms of your academics, we definitely encourage students to do those double majors, and a couple minors. We really work with students closely to be able to help to facilitate that academic exploration. So come to the University of Vermont and study what your heart desires.
I think the University of Wyoming is probably best summed up by saying you have a really unique experience to get a Western college experience, right? Where you're going to be in the Rocky Mountains, but also in like a really cool small college town that isn't $2,000 to live each month. And so it's a really unique experience, I would probably say. And the pride and passion behind this institution is really, really cool as well.
I would probably have to mimic everybody else. I think the exploration is key in wherever you're going. What are the opportunities that are available to you, not only academically, but also extracurricular wise? What are you passionate about, and how each institution can serve those particular needs. Within the U of O, obviously the location is one of my favorite aspects of the campus. But one of my favorite things, as Cade just mentioned, is the atmosphere and the energy that is surrounding the institution. Once a duck, always a duck. Wherever you go, if you're repping in Oregon, a duck, whatever it is, you'll definitely run into other people who are fellow duck fans.
Yeah, UW-Madison, I think everybody else, I think summed it up pretty well with some great points here. But I would say if you really want to really dig in deep and really get into some of those inquisitives, sorry, it's late, I apologize. You really get inquisitive and really want to dig deeper into that content, really ask that question of why and put meaning to that collegiate experience. I think you're really going to find that at UW-Madison, and most likely find yourself gravitating to the Wisconsin idea and really wanting to embody that.
Okay, switching gears a little bit, I'm going to call on your expertise as admissions professionals. What is the best piece of advice, or what's a piece of advice you would give to students and families going through the college search process? We'll go in that same order.
Sure. So one thing I always like to tell families and students is don't focus on one word. So we all as colleges have this really annoying habit where we will rename anything we possibly can just so we sound unique, which means if you're looking for one specific major, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. It goes for sports and clubs and scholarships and colleges and majors. So my biggest hint is when you come up with those things that you really like, just go on Google and type in, okay, what else is this major called? And you're going to find a lot of other really amazing opportunities that you never would have looked at before just by expanding that search a little bit.
My advice is, not to be afraid to utilize us as resources. Call your admission counselor, email us. We're definitely here to help you throughout the process. So please don't hesitate to be in contact. I know personally, I love hearing from prospective students and assisting them throughout the application and admission process. So don't be afraid to reach out.
I'm going say stay true to yourself. Remember that this is your college journey, right? It's not your parents, it's not your older sisters, it is yours. And so, find what you really love. What are your passions, and how can we as universities and institutions help you go after and chase your passions? Because that's really what it's all about.
That really hit me deep, Kate. I do want to say, in regard to the biggest piece of advice is probably getting yourselves to campus. I was a campus ambassador for about 2.5 years, where I gave campus tours, and just seeing people on campus get that gut feeling of, this is going to be where I'm going to be in a year. This is going to be my home. Unbelievable. And I am a true and firm believer that that is an experience that everybody has. And so if it is safe for you to do so you're comfortable doing so, and if you're able to, I highly recommend getting to campus. And if you can't, check out the virtual opportunities that we do have available, so you can make the best decision possible. But getting yourself familiar with campus and getting exposed to that atmosphere is probably one of my biggest pieces of advice.
Yeah, it may sound cliche, but I think really maintaining a positive attitude throughout this, I think, is essential. I think it's worth acknowledging that the college admissions process is inherently stressful, and let alone when we're dealing with a global pandemic. But keep in mind that excitement. You're trying to find out the best place that's going to fit your needs for the next 4 years. And it is not necessarily going to be a linear process like you may have thought it was going to be. But there may be some ebbs and flows to this, but that is okay. That is okay. As Ashley said, we're resources here to kind of help you out throughout this and to understand that we are the professionals. So please maintain that positive attitude, knowing that in the end, when you are going about making this decision, you're going to have a lot of great opportunities in front of you, and you're going to find the right fit.
And hopefully have some fun, right? This is supposed to be a transformative and exciting time in your life. So one more question to you guys as experts. What is the myth you would like to debunk about the college application process or the college search process? And we'll start with you again, Derek.
I think I thought ahead. So one of the things that I always run into with students is you don't have to turn in all the pieces of your application all on the exact same day in one big envelope. So every year students wait to turn in like their letter of recommend or their transcript because they haven't got their letter of recommendation, and then they miss a scholarship. Colleges have gotten pretty tech savvy. So if you have something done, hit submit on that application, it'll send in. And if we're missing something, we're going to reach out. We're going to say, hey, we're missing this piece, here's how to get it to us. So don't hold off on sending something in because you're hoping something else is coming, because you might miss out on a deadline.
I would say a big myth in the process is really one, dealing with financial aid. A lot of folks say, well, I'm not going to complete the FAFSA because we know that we're not going to get any money from the FAFSA. And I always encourage families to complete that FAFSA application because you just never know, So I definitely encourage, all families to complete all pieces of that financial process, just to kind of get a full picture of where you are financially when it's time to make that decision on May 1st.
This is going to be a little bit of an interesting take on it, but I'm going to say, we as institutions, we care about you. We're not just these big money pits that we just want your dollars and adios, see you later, here's your sheet of paper, goodbye. That's not who we are as institutions. We are here to help you really obtain your dreams, right? How can we help you? You don't serve us, we serve you. And so I think that that's something that, is good to really bring back into perspective a lot of the times.
One of the things that I like about questions like this, but not going one of the very last, is, Kate, you took mine. Specifically, you are specifically talking about institutions. I want to say in our job as admissions counselors is we are not salespeople. We are not trying to sell you. Granted, we are trying to give you the information to make that best decision possible, but we're not coercing you to make that decision for us. We are here to give you the information necessary so you can make the best decision possible for you. I can take away all of the Oregon stuff. I can take off the duck off my pillow and I can just be Ryan and I'm here. How can I help you through this process? If it's at the U of O or not, what can I do for you? Exactly what Kate said. We're here to serve you.
I would love to just sit here and talk an entire evening about myth busting. But I would say, so to sort of turn it around a little bit, I would say really question those things that you hear from others. I say this as in maybe peers, people that are just talking about a particular institution. I use myself as an example because I self-selected out of applying to the university that I ended up graduating from because I didn't think I could get accepted, because I thought that I had to have this particular GPA and this particular test score. And I wish I would have asked the question. I wish I would have had an admissions representative, or I would have walked into my college counselor's office at my high school to really get in, ask some informed questions about that process. So this is sort of a piece of advice rather than a myth, but like, don't necessarily self-select yourself out of applying to a particular institution that could very well be a tremendous fit for you, and use the resources at your disposal to really make that informed decision about building that list and finding out what are some of those places that you could be looking at down the road.
I told you these guys were experts, and I hope that you paid attention to all the great things that they had to share and realize that they are real life people that do care about you and do want to hear your questions as you walk through this admissions journey. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey. So provide us with some feedback. There will be more sessions like this in a couple of weeks. So if you enjoyed this tonight, I hope that you sign up for more sessions. This was recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Wisconsin for immediate playback. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great night. Bye-bye.